A wave is a disturbance in some medium. Water waves are disturbances in water. Sound waves are disturbances in particles of air, water, or some solid. That's why you cannot hear your fellow astronauts scream in space. But what about light? What is its medium? Maybe it's air. But then light from the sun and distant stars reaches us and it has to travel through the nothingness of space. Perhaps the space is not empty and is filled with some mysterious material which is present everywhere, even on Earth. And this is the medium for light. Let's call it something. How about ether? But ether is just our imagination until we can prove its existence. Let's try to prove it. We'll need to set up something like this. For this we'll need a light source, two fully reflective mirrors, a half reflective mirror. A half reflective mirror only reflects half of the light, the other half passes straight through it. We'll also need a detector which will detect the amount of light incident on it. The light source is placed at the bottom center of our setup. The half reflective mirror is placed at the center at a 45 degrees angle to the direction of light emitted from the source. The two reflective mirrors are placed at the right and at the top of our setup, making a 90-degree angle at the center. The mirrors are placed at exactly the same distance from the center. Let's emit a beam of light from the source. It will hit the half reflective mirror which is placed at 45 degrees angle at the center of our setup. Half of the light passes through this mirror and the other half gets reflected. The two mirrors, which are precisely at the same distance from the center mirror, reflect back the light towards the center again. Here they combine as they head to the detector. Now, the point to note is, as the mirrors are placed exactly at the same distance, the light reflected from them will reach back at the exact same instant of time and both the waves will get added together. Let's backtrack a little and see how waves get added. The higher point in the waves are called peaks and the lowermost points the troughs. Let's say we have two similar waves which are in phase, which mean the peaks of one wave align with the peaks of the other wave, and similarly for the troughs. When we add these two waves, the peaks get added together and so do the troughs, giving us a wave with higher peaks and lower troughs. This is called constructive interference and will enhance the final intensity of the resulting wave. But if the two waves are out of phase, the peaks of one align with the troughs of the other, and this results in the peaks cancelling the troughs. If they exactly cancel each other, the wave is destroyed and the intensity would be zero. Anything in between, we are going to see an interference pattern whose intensity would be between the in-phase addition and the out-of-phase addition. Now let's go back to our experiment. Let's assume the direction of the ether is horizontally to the left. The horizontal wave will get a boost while going towards the mirror due to the ether flow in the same direction, but will face a resistance while coming back traveling against the ether. Overall, it will take longer than the vertical wave which faces no resistance but will get deflected towards the direction of the ether. To be precise, this is the time taken for the horizontal wave. And this is the time taken for the vertical wave, where v is the speed of ether relative to the earth. So the horizontal wave takes longer by this amount. So they would combine at slightly different times, which would result in two waves not being in phase. This would cause an interference pattern to be observed at the detector. If we keep rotating our setup, there would be a time when ether direction is horizontal and we should see the interference pattern. So we expect the detector to show varying intensities as we rotate our setup, but this does not happen. We can make two conclusions from this. Either the ether does not exist and light does not need a medium, or at the time we conducted this experiment, the ether's velocity relative to the earth was zero. But the earth is not still and it keeps moving. Let's wait for 6 months so that we can be sure the earth's velocity direction has changed and conduct this experiment again. So even after 6 months, the experiment does not show any interference pattern. The only conclusion we can make out of this is that ether does not exist and light does not need a medium.